Happy Monday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, and I'm coming to you live on Memorex from the default location, default route. It's been a while since I've been here, this very familiar place. A couple weeks in Ohio, and then to get back to this walk, obviously the ultimate remote location, the place I was born and raised, and then to get back to this oh so familiar walk. It feels good. I feel good today. A lot of stuff was spit out, stored it out in mucus, phlegm, whatever. I got no nasal pain, no sinus irritation, no headache. Feel good for a Monday. And it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back and to get at it. Because I basically just had pretty much 4 days off. You could probably say 3.5 because of the travel. But I think I was home and unpacked by 4:30 p.m. I'm supposed to land at 1:26. And I think there was a few delays here and there. But, you know, by Friday, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, I was in my house. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Didn't get no steps. Barely left the place. A lot of rest, football, if you can call it that. Steelers played awful. Stuff I've been saying for years. I'm watching all the podcasters and the beat writers, the people who are actually get to go in the locker room after the game and talk to the players, people who talk to the coaches. Yeah, they're, might be it for Tomlin. This might be it for Mike Tomlin. This just like completely fell apart. This like completely fell apart. And I've been kind of clamoring for that for years. So the organization would have to address the situation dead on. There's no looking around this time. There's no not seeing or acknowledging what happened yesterday, Sunday, because it was bad. It was really bad. To put it in perspective, in one aspect, the Steelers team gave up more yards rushing. They let the other team run the ball more than they had in like 30 years. I think it's the most ever at Acrisure Stadium, and almost maybe like the most ever, including Three Rivers or something. It was bad. 30 years, 40 years, nobody's ran the ball that much. And they were at their backup offensive tackles, and they still ran us over. So, you know, people got to talk about it now, and I've been wanting this because there needs to be a change. There needs to be a change, and they use all the words I use: modernized, sophisticated, innovative, evolve. We're still playing 1970s football. It's the 90s. We're behind. We're behind. And they try to say it's the personnel. But if you scheme the personnel correctly, you can get something out of it. And it's been said that they don't adjust during mid-game. They're not outsmarting anybody. They're not outsmarting anybody. They just think they can come out there, run the play, and that'll be it. You know, do your job. But people's on the other side of the ball, other teams figuring out what we're doing. And I don't care how good your personnel is. If the other team knows damn near what play you gonna run, because I'm sitting up in the stands or watching TV, knowing what play is gonna be run. It's no misdirection, no nothing. Nothing that, schemes or hides what you want to do or make it look different. Nothing. It's just nothing. So we'll see. Other than that, come back, get a few days of myself, which I don't want to say love most in life, but I know it plays a big part into my well-being, and I do get a lot out of it, just being by myself and in my own head, my thoughts, and just can go in any direction I want to go, thinking wise, freedom, conversation with myself, subject control, watch TV, sports, football, relax, eat, just cooling out. Just cooling out. I appreciate that time. I look forward to that time. To say I'm appreciative of that time is such an understatement. It's incorrect. It was fun. It's fun going back there, hanging out, and then I realized when I'm back home in Youngstown, I don't go nowhere. I'm cool, working and hanging out with granddaughter. If you're hanging out with granddaughter, you don't pretty much want to do nothing too much else. That energy just keeps going. It just keeps going. And then you start noticing consistencies. One of the main ones that I really was reinforced or fortified is when she gets sleepy, she started getting more violent and aggressive, and louder and rougher and disruptive. And her ex-wife also said that every time she gets tired, she tries to go upside down. She'll kind of flip up to where, she's literally upside down where she sleep on top of her head. Babies will curl up. Or I've seen her before, just kind of laying on the side of the bed, hanging off with her head down, feet above her. Her ex-wife said every time, ever since she was little, when she gets sleepy, that's her move. And I did notice a couple times. She'll climb in a chair and then let her head fall. But it was good. It was a good thing. She, I like to monitor progress and see her responses and how she handles this and handles that, and us going back and forth. And over the weekend too, I kind of had the epiphany of the idea that the reason, the purpose and all that, the purpose and the reason for humanity is to perpetuate, or whatever, to promote the species, to have your genes selected and to proliferate. That's the goal in life. That's the only reason we're here. That is the only reason we're here. The only thing that matters. Offspring, raising your offspring to be successful. Everything else, well, I don't know about everything, but a lot of it comes from our conscious awareness, where we try to put meaning on top of that. Where we develop conscious awareness, we develop a sense of self, and then from that, we try to put meaning on top of that. Now that we got procreating down, there's 8 billion of us on this planet. We got the reproduction down. Now, through our evolution, that wasn't the easiest thing in the world for any species, I guess. Learning how to, make sure your kids live and they going to have kids. That is probably in us instinctively. And if you look around, that's the goal of just about every other life form and species. The continuation of said species and probably the promotion of your own genes. You don't need nothing more than that. And then, because we're conscious and we're aware and we're this or that, we realize that for some of us may not have that drive to raise children or to be parents, to be a parent day in and day out. Some of us are born with something that, that's the best thing they can do. That's what they want to do. That's what they love to do. It's just bred into them, an instinct or demeanor just to be that person. You got people who don't have kids, couples who, don't have kids. And I understand that. I get it. And I'm sure they're happy. I'm sure they're happy in their way, whatever, and I'm also pretty sure that in the back of their minds, it's always that thing, what if kids? And for me, if anything, I think I had to at least try kids. I know you really can't try them. Once you get them, there's no going back. There's not no testing to have your own. Something that you look at that has your name and came out of you and looks like you and, evolved. You were there through all their lives. That is something that I even think people who don't want kids, never wanted kids, shouldn't have kids. I think somewhere in the back of their minds there's always that thought, what if? What is it like? And I think just because that's possibly life's greatest achievement, I just out of fear of missing out to a degree, I'm glad I had that experience. Very glad. So at least I can say I know. Hardest thing I ever did, and I wasn't even there 24/7. Still the responsibility and the mental aspect of being that person, knowing people depend on you and you're obligated to them, and you just have a sense inside your body that you owe. Or you got obligation, a sense of obligation and responsibility like no other. And the worry. I mean, I don't worry like some people worry, but you're always thinking in the back of your mind, what if this, what if that? Are they okay? Is this, that don't never go away. Yeah, over weekend, I came to that epiphany that raising children is it. That's it. That's all we're here for. That's our function, to have kids and to procreate. Nothing else. And within that have kids and procreate comes, you got to keep yourself together, self-health, health of other people, being, the village, the social aspect, how we evolved to be social groups and social families, and the way we cohabitate, neighborhoods, schools, all that. Because I was wondering, what is it that got me going back to Ohio every 2 months? What is that about? Literally been going back there every 2 months since the child was born. Maybe saying it's because you love her. Nope. Love really ain't got nothing to do with it. It's more almost instinctive, or it's more important than love. Love is just a manner in which you execute. Love is not an answer to anything. Love is a mode of operation. You do this of love. And you might be able to say, because of love. And if you say that, you do this because of love, that still don't tell you how to do it. What's more important, and very important to me, is how you do it and what you do. Love don't tell you that. Love just tell you how to do it. Do it with love, or because of love. Okay, but what do I do? Love don't know. Love don't know. Love ain't got no answer for that. Just like science can't really tell you. Science can't pull a ought from an is. Science just tell you what is. What ought to be comes from us through our conscious awareness and our consciousness, and what we feel is good, moral, or respectable, or what needs to happen. My thing going back there, maybe almost instinctive, is to be part of that child growing up. Maybe even, I would even go so far as to selfishly, go down the selfish route, to put my imprint on the child, so that my imprint and what I am and what I think and all this goes forward within that child. Because they didn't learn, they sponging up everything. And I definitely wanted to get back there or whatever, to let her know how I think things should be. And I do think that would benefit her. And I definitely, and I know there's some things I can bring to her that, nobody else can. Basically speaking, nobody else can. Look, they got these stupid lockers. Zero to 12 hours, 75 cents. 0 to 12 hours, 75 cents, that's nothing. $1 fat fee for 12 hours. Oh, that's cheap. That's pretty cheap. I would use that. I don't know what I use it for. I'm sure some people probably living in there. For like $1, $2 a day, that's cheaper than a room. I'm sure Some people will try to live in there. No doubt about it. It's good to be back out on the default route, default location. Back into it, back on it. Of course, the weather says it's like 50 or 60 or something. It definitely feels warmer in the sun. And the fact that when I was back in Ohio, I got used to 40s. I'm walking around 40s and kind of rainy. Like, yeah, no big deal. I was kind of bundled up though. It was a good trip. It was a good trip. I'm back and a lot of good food, brought a lot of food home. My carry-on was the heaviest. It was way heavy this time. I could barely get it into the overhead bin. I bought a lot of food home. Speaking of which, I've ate a lot. Woke up today, Mr. Scale told me 197.4, which I think is pretty good. Considering what I did the last 2 weeks, and then what I did after I got home, the food, the consumption, ham, rolls, oh my God, cheesecake. Oh yeah, I did the thing. I did the thing, and to be only at still under 200, I'm happy with that. And then if I get back on track, I'm happy to get through Thanksgiving. If I can get down to the 180s, if I can get down to the 180s before Christmas, because during that Christmas to New Year's, at the beginning of the year is when I usually put on 20 pounds. And I got it off for the most part. But there's been times when I just put on 20 pounds between the food season. I used to say from Halloween to Valentine's Day, but it's more drastic than that. It's more like January, December and January. Go up like 222 or something ridiculous like that. We're gonna try to make that not happen this time. And you know, I feel better. I was thinking it's retirement. I don't wanna work no more. But the more I'm going through it, the more I'm realizing it may be that my overall health is the issue, not the job. And I just wake up some days with maybe headaches or sinus problems, or where I just don't feel like doing it. And that happens. And it definitely was a time where I just couldn't take the phones when people are asking for stuff. Just the constant quote unquote pressure of it, knowing things, being capable, how I process being on the spot when somebody calls, oh, this is an emergency, I need this. My reaction to it, the stress on me, mentally and physically and psychologically, day in and day out. To monitor my stats, next call, flow outs, and that definitely takes a toll and takes a resource and can wear down on you. But I'm starting to realize on the days I feel good or, feel You know, without, like today, the job is easy. The job is, you know, poop poop. And I'm still pretty good at it. Even though my motivation for it may or may not be what it once was. My attitude toward it may or may not be what it once was. I've learned to pace myself, I guess you could say. Learned to pace myself, take my foot off the gas. And my boss said something to me that it was good to hear, but I kind of wish you didn't tell me. She basically said, you know, because we look at our stats, and I ain't shy about what I do and don't do, and the little tricks I learned to make the job less stressful or easier. You could almost have to say it's sandbagging it a bit. You know, I ain't going 100%. She said, and it's noticeable, you know, what's going on. And I told her, you know, I hang on the emails. You know, I cool down on email. Emails say next. The calls are gonna come in. The calls are gonna come in. You can't stop them. Well, you can, but there's a metric on that. There's a metric, if you're in manual state is where you take yourself out of the queue offline. So that's a metric. So for performance-wise, that has to be recognized and respected. But email handling time is not. And I think 1 week I had, my email handling time was like 40 minutes. I spent like 40 minutes on email. They're probably gonna change that. End up calling it the Mitchell rule. The Mitchell email rule. Morning. So in fact, a morning ritual is like, you know, get the computer set up, get logged in and everything, read the Teams chats, see if anything going on, read all like the bulletins or headlines and stuff, see what's going on, how the morning's been going, read my emails, get up to speed, then to punch in on time, and then to go available on time. Then once I do that, I go available, email usually comes in, I exhale. Sometimes I don't even look at the email. I just take it, because that means I'm available, I'm active, I'm ready to work, and I got something in my queue, and I won't get another chat or email. I don't think I get chats when I got email. I won't get another chat or email as long as I hold on to that email. But phone calls will come in. You gotta pick those up. If you don't, you gotta flow out. Flow out, sir. Something you want to avoid, because they directly impact your performance reviews. And I'll get that email, and I'll start doing something else. Because that means I'm in, I'm stable, system's running, I can take a deep breath. Because we get a 15-minute startup time. We get a 15-minute shift start. And I always punch in at 12:14. And they try to tell us, you know, that's just a grace period. If you come on and you get online and you're ready to go live, you're supposed to go active. You're not supposed to take up the whole 15 minutes if you Don't need it. Shoot. My thing is, I start getting ready for work almost a half hour, like 30 minutes before it's time to clock in. Because that 15 ain't enough. That 15 minutes ain't enough. Start up your computer, let it boot up, log in, make sure it's working, get everything set up, verify everything's working. Because if you turn it on and it ain't where it's supposed to be, and you miss that first call, Regan just absolutely just missed that first call. You know, that's a ding. And it takes longer than 15 minutes to log into everything, get everything set up on your screens. Now, during the week, I don't turn the computer off. I just lock it. So as soon as I wake up next morning, boom, cut it on, log in, everything's already set up and working. You know, for the most part, like Tuesdays, Wednesday. No, Wednesday I gotta go in the office, so I gotta reboot then. I shut it down to go in the office. Shut it down when I leave the office, cut it back on. So there's a couple days in the week where I know the computer's connected, set up. Just a few minor things I still gotta do. Still gotta go back in and log into other apps to be ready. So there's always something. And it takes, I don't wanna put that much pressure on me in 15 minutes. So I start 20 minutes before work and get all that done. And then that's why I go, I told my boss, I said, no, that's why I use that whole 14 minutes. That's why I always clock in 14 minutes, regardless of what's going on. Because I'm gonna use all that time. Because I'm actually spending twice that amount of time before on my own time getting ready. Yeah, I need to get back also to getting my steps every day. Now that I'm back into some kind of weather, it's probably possible to do that. Because that weather, woo boy, let me tell you, that weather, boy, woo, you get used to that cold and that rain and whatnot. I didn't even get to go to the mall. I didn't even think to go get my steps in the mall this trip. Granddaughter go to school, so she ain't there for when I walk. She basically there right when I get back. Almost like exactly right when I get back. Or I kind of time it that way. I kind of leave maybe a few minutes earlier just so I could be here when I get back in the bus. And I still got an hour before I'm supposed to punch in. So I can kind of, you know, got some free time to mess with her before I get dressed and make my grits and whatnot. Get breakfast. And then while I'm sitting there eating breakfast, I'm usually logging in like a half hour before I'm supposed to clock in. 45 minutes before I'm supposed to go available. Yeah. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Then Christmas will be here in no time. P-Funk got shows in the LA area. Pittsburgh got shows in the LA area in January. I took a day off. Orange County, go down there early. House of Blues. Go down and have dinner. Get a pass the line. Keep on. Instead of buying one, just go down there and eat. Go down early. Beat traffic. Kind of cool out down there. You know, And then, I think the next day is Vegas. So I'll leave there, go to Prim, State Line or whatever that place was. I think I've been there before. And after that, it's San Diego. Same trip I did before. Same trip I did, but I did this trip before. San Diego Sunday. Ooh, come to think about it, playoffs, Steelers and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. I gotta look it up, look up the playoff picture. January 17th, playoff game. In 2 months, if I came back November 28th, December, January, so it'll be about the end of January, beginning of February. It will be my 2-month cycle to go back to Ohio. And then next year, in January, we gotta go in the office 2 days a week. That's a killer. That is a killer. Because that means 2 days a week now, I gotta use 2 days of PTO a week when I go back there. Unless I figure out something. And that's gonna be a killer. One day a week was easy. And 1 day a week, I'd be losing. I get a day every pay period, so if I take 2 days off during that week, I'll only be losing 1 day of PTO for a week. Now, I'll be losing 3. I think. Yeah, 3. So we'll figure something out. So it feels good to be back in the sunshine. Feels good to be back in the weather and the people and the energy of bigger city life. In fact, I set my computer up last night. And let it run all night. Put it on the network, let it run all night. You know, muted all the speakers, and logged into the network, had it connected in case there's any updates that's gonna be run, let it run. Let it process. That's why I tell people, some people cut their computer off every night. And then cut it back on in the morning. That's kind of a twofold hindrance, and sometimes updates can run at night, or at least they can be downloaded and run, you know, in the middle of the night. And I don't got to set up every time. Setup could take 15, 20 minutes. Setting that computer up, it could take 15, 20 minutes if it's already set up and just locked, the screen is locked. Come in, boop, fingerprint that bad boy open, and keep going. So it's good, life is good. Life is really good. Some things I know I need to clean up, some things I need to address and fix. But the resources are there. Everything's in line. This can be adjusted or shifted. One of the things I really want to look, I had an accident. And I gotta do my taxes. File my taxes again. And I gotta file my taxes again. And since the government was shut down, couldn't really get in touch with the IRS. So I gotta get in touch with them, get that taken care of. And also see, I had an accident. In fact, I had an accident going from Las Vegas to the San Diego P-Funk show. And I know as soon as I did it, I was wrong. I usually don't make moves like I did. And as soon as I did it, boom, clipped the back of a car on the freeway. I usually don't make snap turns or judgments or switch lanes like that without, fully evaluating the situation. I was like, damn. And then there was no problem with it. And then they, $1,200 a year for 3 years. Raised my insurance. And I checked Geico, same thing. So I might go get, even though Geico's price is about the same as AAA, if I go and I get that point taken off, I go into school or something, and then refile for insurance, save like $3,600. And that $3,600 I'm paying extra in insurance, I might as well went ahead and paid for the person's car out of pocket. That's what I should have done. Just pay for it instead of paying this extra money for insurance. I didn't know. I know now though. Because all you gotta do is, you don't even gotta get insurance if you can put up like $30,000, something like that. You put up $30,000. Then if you, it's just gotta stay aware of it. You gotta stay aware of it, and you gotta be flexible and looking at stuff. Like Joe, the Cleveland Browns fan, back there, he said he'd been with AT&T for 24 years. He's just that kind of person, he ain't up for change, he like the stability, very simplified lifestyle, extremely simplified lifestyle. Nothing too aggressive, very cautious. And he got a nice setup back there. A nice house, wife, family around him. Then he tell me what he paying on his mortgage. I almost threw up. I was like, oh my God. You get all of this, including insurance and property taxes, for that much, less than a car payment. They bought it when they bought it. When they got in a good time, interest rates was like 2-3%. It was back in Ohio. So now he's sitting pretty. In fact, I think he got a lease on a car or something, and it's more than his mortgage. It's more than his mortgage. So that's nice to have that. Really nice place too. Big yard, which for me is not a plus or a bonus. That's not a bonus. The big yard is not a bonus. It's just an obligation to maintenance something that I Probably don't use. Oh, I got this on high. Oh, I'm recording this on high. I guess it kind of don't matter. When I'm walking this route, I usually turn down the resolution, but I got it up high right now. Oh well, such is life. Not the end of the world. Hard drive space is pretty cheap nowadays, so blah blah. I'll switch it. Cut it in half, in fact. Cut the bandwidth in half of what it is. So here we go, happy Monday. Here we go. Happy Monday. Getting it started. Get back into the routine, the regimen. I feel good I feel good right now. That's all I can say. That's all I can say is that I feel good right now. Right now at this moment, I feel good. Just gotta take it hour by hour, day by day. Then we'll see how it goes. Next thing you know, it'll be Wednesday, Friday, weekend, we start the whole thing all over again. Stay in the moment, enjoy the now, process the now. Don't anticipate, don't look forward so much. Be aware of what's coming up. Prepare for it. But stay in the moment. I'll get home, put the grits on, get the grits going. So I can have breakfast, and, get the routine going, get back in it. Get back into it. Cleaning up stuff, cleaning up my data, backing up stuff. Maintenance in the empire. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, look at it out here. I'm paying $1,900 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. The Browns paying almost a little over a third of that for like an estate. I wouldn't call it an estate, but the yard, his front yard, oh my God, the front yard is, I think my whole apartment bill could fit in this front yard. Get back to my, to cleaning up and tightening that up and organizing and everything more efficient. I just enjoy it. It's a good day. And then I walk, probably I usually say probably 1.6 pounds. So from 197.4, be 196.8, 195.8. If I get to 195.8, I'll be happy. Cause I used to lose 2.8 sometimes. 2.8 pounds on these walks from when I get on the scale in the morning to when I get back after this walk. That was summer, mostly water, a lot of sweat. That's why I got a extra shower pole for the bathroom, for my shower, to put right down the middle of the shower so I can hang all my clothes up after the walk, because that's how sweaty that's how wet and dripping wet they would be after walking in the summer. And I get up and on an empty stomach with no water, unhydrated, walk 5 miles in the heat and drop like 2.2, something like 2.8 pounds on a walk. Wintertime, it's not so much. And I know a lot of that's water weight anyway, but like I said, I still like seeing the low number. I still like seeing that low number. I don't give a damn. I still like seeing that low number. Even though I know it's an anomaly way. Got my routine, do what I do. Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going through the week. Monday, I got a one-on-one with my supervisor. Tuesday, I get an hour of dev time. Wednesday, I go into work, talking about my duties at work and the little quote-unquote breaks I get. I guess you call them a break from being on the phone. You know, between the meetings and the development time. Yeah, I got a few things I gotta take care of. Go and get my eye appointment. My eye appointment Wednesday. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm talking about as far as getting downtown, getting parked, and getting to the eye appointment. Squeezing the appointment in to what, you know, my normal schedule would be. Best I can. Probably gonna leave a little earlier. I probably will, you know, I like to leave early. Get down there. Get it knocked out. Get my glasses and frames and whatnot. Get the prescription. Send it to Zenny. Or these online glasses is a lot cheaper. So I'm to the point that if I can get an eye exam at Price Club or Costco for $60 and get the prescription and take it to Zenny, that's cheaper than insurance. That's cheaper than insurance. And since they ordered from Zenny and I ordered from another place. You know, once I finally figured out how to transfer the prescription online, click, click, boom. And I've always been getting the cheaper glasses. You know, and I can afford to get like a better pair. Maybe not so much more stylish, but more durable, you know, spend a little bit more money to get a more expensive style or brand or whatever. And the frames, basically. You know, or get like adjusting lenses, this or that. I get non-reflective now. Definitely get non-reflective because of the, you know, video and stuff. Get UV and all that mess. Yeah, it's a little bit of a stress walking. Not stress, but I can feel the physical getting back into it. It's been a while since I walked. I can't remember the last time I walked, in fact. I'd have to look it up. It was the weather back in Ohio, and I was sick a little bit. I guess I had the croup. I thought it was called the crud. I think it's called the croup. Where I was just stuffed. It was like an allergy. It was like allergies. I think I got it from granddaughter. You don't really get sick. You just get stuffy nose, runny nose, and coughing. You know, no fever, no headache. I didn't have too many aches, even though I used to get aches I would get aches on allergies. I knew it was allergies. I would get aches on allergies, so that's how that go. get back, take a shower, get dressed. Feels good to get back into it. Plan my life out so I can look at it and say, boom, 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 boom. All this is taken care of. Yeah, my attitude towards work has changed since I'm not sure I can say since I feel physically better, but since I do feel better, my attitude towards work has changed. Before I was almost, in a way, blaming everything on work, and it really wasn't. It was my physical health or ailments or stuff I was going through. But then again, I don't know if that's true, because remember I had taken time off. Remember I took time off work, 3 months. And before that time, I had hit a wall. I had hit a wall where I could not go to work. I could not do it. I just could not do it. Of course, I could do anything I want to. And I know that. But it wasn't worth it. Or something to me, it just wasn't. I didn't have it in me to do it. And maybe didn't want to. I was ready to quit and this and that. Then I started feeling better. Sinuses started acting right. My headaches took a turn for the better. And work became much more tolerable. Much more tolerable. Like I could probably even cut this off, huh? You really wasn't seeing nothing there, was you? But I understand even the just the movement of the camera, any kind of movement is good. Any kind of movement is a pleasant distraction. Something that you can kind of look at while you're listening to be stream consciousness. Woo! Yeah. I can feel my body is getting back into it. It's a little warming right now. Not warm, but you know, it's the first time in a while I've walked. So there's gonna be some getting used to. It feels good though. Psychologically, mentally, physically, what it does for my body and the calories and all that may or may not matter. I forgot what I was talking about. Gotta even think about when I'm eating for dinner tonight. I think I might go away from the salads or make an adjustment on the salads. One of which is not so much salad dressing. I think all that salad dressing was I think all that salad dressing was sodium and raising my blood pressure. So I'm gonna try to ease up on the salad dressing, ease up on the cheese, ease up on the olives in there and the meat. Try to, get my sodium back down. Because when I was a sodium Nazi, I didn't have no sodium. I eliminated it all. Stuff I cooked, stuff I did, my pressure came down. Don't know if I felt better or not. Can't remember at that time. But it definitely, I got it down. So I'll start that and get back to my regimen of walking and continue to think and quote unquote complain about the black and miles, knowing I need to quit them. Well, I guess that'll happen when it happens, so we'll see. I ate a lot. This weekend. I was eating rolls in the middle of the night. Rolls, yeah. But I did stay away from the sweets. For the most part, stay away from the sweets. I was eating them rolls though. Oh my God. Laying in the bed, eating them rolls knowing damn well, you're gonna make yourself sick. I didn't. Felt good. It feels good. It felt good and it feels good, people. It really does. An hour and 1 minute. Not that time should matter. Not that the time should play a factor in this, but I don't think that's all. I don't think I got any left. I'm sure I could think of something if I really put my mind to it, but is that necessary? I think we're ready for the week. Beautiful day. I get Christmas Eve and Christmas off or something like that, and then New Year's. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Light fell. This light fell. Looked like they moved it. Where'd it fall from? Somebody tried to steal the light. Oh, there it is. It fell right from there. Looked like they took the bolts off. Probably trying to get the copper out of it. That's why all these lights, none of them work. People took them apart to get the copper. Some people be trying to steal copper and it don't be the right copper. Or they take the wrong wires or something like that. That's happened a few times. I mean, not that I would know, but In fact, I might know because I think somebody told me, it was either the cable people or somebody told me that they were trying to yank the copper. Anyways, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk, and for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell.